Nice. Yeah.
Yo, all right, let's look at the Nasdaq. Let's look at the S&P. Let's get an idea of what's going on, right? When you look at the Nasdaq, it looks like we're in a corrective zone right now. The market is taking the time to regather all the bullshit we went through in the past 2 years. I'm only calling it bullshit is because the only reason why I'm calling it BS is because there's a lot of names over the past couple of years that just really got overinflated. Some would say way overvalued, and their valuations are now just completely unrealistic. That's like the simple way to put it. So now the market is trying to recorrect itself, get back to the mean, the average. So what we're looking at here is simply that the market is just taking its time. Right now, we're watching these zones. That's why I have them marked out. We have the all-time high resistance. We have another resistance that we have been rejecting for 3 months. And now we're making new lows here. These lows, I want to see, are we going to reject this support that we've had for a year? So I want to see, how is this going to continue, right? We had this resistance, we come down, we mark a new resistance, we come back down here with a bear flag. I want to see, are we going to create this as resistance? As you can see, it was previously support from last year, right? January, March, May, and we came back in March 2022 and had a bounce from there. That faked us out thinking it's a support level, but now we've broken below it. Is it going to act as resistance and we continue downward? This could happen for a while, right? It could be, in a way, forming some sort of Elliott wave pattern where we get the 1, the 2, the 3, we come up here, create like a 4, and then we get that 5th wave to the downside. That could be happening. There's so many things that could potentially play out. It's kind of pointless to call out bottoms or anything. So what I'm going to be kind of looking at is paying attention to, like how far are we going to pull back? Which zones are we rejecting, and which zones are we going to see massive bull volume come into? So I'm looking at this 12,100 zone to the 10,800 area. So this zone right here, right in this area here, is what I'm looking at. I want to see, can we make a base in that area? Are we going to start seeing all the news basically saying, oh, the market's over, the market's going to crash? Is there going to be some sort of bullish news? Is there going to be drama resolved in Russia, Ukraine? All this FUD, is it going to end? Is it going to continue in that area? Is it going to get worse? You want to see what is happening and how the market reacts to those things, because it could give us signals that we're either hitting some temporary bottom or that, it's going to set in a bottom. Because I remember right around here in March 2020, it was essentially peak fear. Everyone's basically saying the world's going to end, but that was, when you look back, especially in hindsight, the best time to invest. So is it going to be very similar around this time, right? When we come back to these levels and everyone's just scared shitless of the market. So that's why I have these zones marked out. I want to see what's going to happen and what the market sentiment is like if we get to those areas. Now, when I'm looking at the S&P, it's like very similar to the Nasdaq. I don't want to spend too much time here, but we're essentially looking at the same thing, right? All we're really looking at is a bunch of stocks. This is an ETF that is holding a bunch of different stocks, and a lot of those stocks since the bottom of 2020 have gotten so overvalued that right now we're going through a period of time where we need a correction. We need it to come, these stocks and ETFs and companies, to come back to their mean. So, which is the average. Once they do that, we're going to see a lot more opportunity to go long. In the meanwhile, find stocks that you have conviction in, right? If we come back all the way to the golden pocket, there's going to be great companies that have gotten sold off so hard that are going to provide you with that opportunity to potentially go long, make that money again, right? So you could be patient, you could be dollar cost averaging, you could be watching, simply doing nothing and just watching these markets to get a better idea of what's going on the charts, the technicals, the fundamentals even too, right? Like there's going to be stocks that are creating higher lows in this market that are going to be really quiet and not talked about. Pay attention to those, right? I think this is a great time for especially new people to just chalk up on new information, get smarter with managing risk, and like really understand technicals so that you could, equip yourself so when the opportunity comes, you're going to knock it out of the park. Like I don't think the world's going to end because of this. I don't think, I think we'll probably see new all-time highs at some point. Is it going to be 2023? Is it going to be 2024? Who knows? That doesn't really matter at all. What matters is the potential opportunity that is going to come. It's inevitable that it's going to come. It's just when, right? So I do think that even though the markets are taking a hit right now, the best time is now to educate yourself and be aware of the opportunity that's about to present. Like imagine all we do is come back to our average and we go for another ride again, something like this, where we come back to this average, or maybe the average looks like that kind of, and we find our way to eventually come back up. There's a few different perspectives you could use to look at it, but overall, I'm staying optimistic. Peace.